Support for this podcast comes from Alston Carlisle Digital Content Studios, your source for photography, videography, and podcasting. For more information, go to alstoncarlisle.com.
Here we go, y'all. It's that time. It's the Coach's Corner. This podcast will bring you the latest info in sports from all three levels, high school, college, and the pros. What makes us different? We don't pull any punches. We give it to you raw and uncut. Welcome to the Coach's Corner podcast. On this episode, we're here with Michael Hawthorne and Coach Nick Myles from St.Frances Academy. We're going to talk about the upcoming season that the Panthers are having. Talk about the big win they had against...
A non-attorney spokesperson, Janelle & Associates law firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is responsible for the content of this ad. Attention all active or retired military. If you are diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss after using yellow and black or yellow and olive dual-ended earplugs, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. These earplugs permitted damaging sounds to enter the ear canal. If you served in the military and were later diagnosed with hearing loss or tinnitus, call 800-912-3823 right now to see if you qualify for significant cash compensation. The manufacturer knew of the defect, but did not warn its customers. Complaints allege that the manufacturer manipulated test results to make it appear that the plugs met government standards. If you deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan anytime from 2003 through 2015 and are now suffering from diagnosed hearing loss or tinnitus, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call 800-912-3823 right now. Hurry, time is limited. Call 800-912-3823 now to see if you qualify for cash compensation. Call 800-912-3823. That's 800-912-3823. 800-912-3823.
Yeah, and we're back. Sorry about the little technical difficulty we had in the beginning, but we got everything all straightened out now. We're good to go. We're here with Mike Hawthorne, one of the reps from Under Armour, who can give us the latest on the products going on over at Under Armour, and with St.Frances Academy head men's varsity basketball coach, Mr. Nick Myles. We'll start with you, Coach. Tell us about this current season and how things are going so far.
It's been a wonderful season. Just so proud of the kids' progression throughout the year, not only athletically but academically. It's a blessing to work with a great group of young men on a daily basis who's always upbeat and always ready to have fun and, get better in life, in academics, and in basketball.
Right. Now, we saw that St. Frances was ranked as high as 10th in the country on the ESPN ranking. Tell us a little bit about why you decided that you wanted to take a small school on Chase Street in the heart of the hood and put them on the national scene?
Just the level of talent that we have, with, starting with Jordan Toles and Adrian Baldwin. I promised them they freshman year 4 years ago, by the time we get to the senior year, we'll play the toughest schedule in school history. Mm-hmm. We was blessed to add Jamal his junior year. He's been with us, for 2 years now. And just to have those guys get a chance, to challenge themselves against the best. They're going off to college.
Right.
And the only way to see how good you are is to play the best. So we always want to be college prep, not only academically but athletically. And to be college prep, you got to play other college athletes. So that's why we decided to play the schedule that we did.
Right. That makes perfect sense. The recruiting scene in the Baltimore area, it has highs and lows. Mm-hmm. How do you stay on top of what's going on so you can keep the kids coming in so you can constantly compete at a national level?
Just got to find the right fit, Every school is not for everybody. St. Frances is not for everybody. Number one, if you don't want to work hard in the classroom, if you don't love basketball, don't come to St. Frances to play basketball. We play too much. We probably play the most games in the area. It's probably been year number 4, number 5 playing most games in the area. Okay. We play early. We practice a lot. We pretty much want to prepare kids to be college athletes. Right. And that's not that's not everybody's goal or dreams, but the kids we want to work, we want that to be their goals and dreams, and we work hard for them to make sure that at the end of their career that they achieve their dreams of going to college for free.
Right. Now, St. Frances is one of the, if not the first, high school program that was sponsored by Under Armour. Mike, tell me a little bit about your relationship with St. Frances and how that relationship has been growing over the last few years.
Well, I work for Under Armour, but one of the coaches at St.Frances as well. So, it was just a perfect marriage for me, and it just grown where they sponsor us a lot now, and they support us. And I think the high came Saturday. Mm-hmm. That was a great showing. We had everybody from Under Armour there. Great showing. Great. It was just good. Right. It was just good, and that kind of shows the backing where they want to be involved in the grassroots basketball more. Right. But it was awesome. Right. It was awesome.
Now, speaking of Saturday was the Baltimore Ball Out, sponsored by DTLR. I know you have a great relationship with DTLR, Coach Nick. Tell me a little bit about the value of that game before we get into the specifics of the game. Tell me about the value of that game as far as recruiting in the Baltimore area.
Well, not only the value of the game, just big for the area. I was talking to the associate athletic director, Joe McIver, and Mr. McIver told me that was the first time that arena been packed since the LeBron lockout game. Okay. So that's 3 years. That's the most attendance.
Right.
The
city, with no NBA players.
No NBA players. All high school kids
all
from Baltimore.
Kids,
yeah. Right. The city came out to support. It was a great crowd. It was a great showing for Baltimore. Everybody was peaceful. Right. People cheered on their teams. Some people cheered for Poly, some people cheered for St.Frances, and some people just cheered for great high school basketball. I think, in both games they got a great show. I think the kids gave their all, and it just shows that we can do positive things in Baltimore City.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's awesome to be right again in the middle of the city, not on the outskirts, but right in the city, and not have any problems whatsoever. And you mentioned some of the people from Under Armour. I saw Mr. Plank was there, actually, sitting front row.
Yeah, that was awesome to have him come out. And we had Jimmy Passos, who's with us, and, Austin Buns, Trey Evans, just a lot of our grassroots people there. Right. So to have them there, that was big.
And see firsthand the quality of basketball that we can put on here in Baltimore.
That was big.
Right. The St.Frances, I want to come back to the situation that transpired at Poly, at Morgan. But St.Frances had been ranked in the top 20 in 3 major sports, boys and girls basketball and football. The school has 220 kids. What's in the holy water going on over there at St.Frances?
Well, some schools think you can't have great academics and athletics, and that's the biggest myth. If you use academics correctly, with great athletics, you can get these kids from Baltimore City experience, things they never experienced. We had 2 kids graduated from UNLV, on the West Coast. So we just we just want to expose kids to going to school all across the country. Just to do something different. Us is about making not the next 4 years, the next 40 years. Right. All these kids love sports, so let's use sports in the right way. Right. Let's challenge them to be better men and better women. Let's show them what it takes to compete on a high level, and let's really prepare them to be a college basketball or college football player. Right. And at the top of that has always been academics.
Right. Yeah. Now I know a lot of people in the community try to give St.Frances a bad name academically. But what a lot of people don't know is St.Frances had the Bill Gates Award winner a few years ago. There were several thousand applicants for that scholarship, and the young man that won was St.Frances a student. Can you tell me a little bit about that award?
The Bill Gates Award is one of the most prestigious academic awards in the country. That award will pay for his next 12 years of college. So free bachelor's degree, free master's degree, and a free doctoral degree. And the school's been around for 190 years. You're not going to be oblates, oblates is the Providence, is the order of nuns that runs the school. You're not going to be an oblate school without focusing on academics. They love the sports, but if the academics are not in place, they're not concerned with how good we are. Right. So we just trying to be a perfect marriage, and merging the two, and letting the kids win. Coaches win when we win games. The kids win when they get scholarships. Right. People may not like us, but our kids win because our kids get scholarships to go to college.
Right. Yeah. Now, the Baltimore Sun did an article last year or the year before that stated that St.Frances has put the most kids playing Division I basketball. And I don't know if we can give an applause to that, but you definitely have my applause. Tell me about some of the process that you've in the relationship that you've built with some of these coaches. Tell me about how that is all developed.
It's all based around the kids, man. We got kids that compete hard, that work hard in the classroom, that's academically eligible. And then the best part about a program, when your kids go to college and have success and graduate, then coaches will continue to follow. Right. So that, the Kurt Lees, the Daquan Bracey's, the Deshaun Welch, who was a college coach, the Tavon Salas, who was a college coach, the Greg Lewis, who was an HR, rep and got a master's degree from Rutgers, Wayne Sparrows, who graduated from Richmond and UMBC, when you and countless others. When you get those kind of kids having that kind of academic and athletic success, then college coaches will follow. So, we got a good reputation on our kids who are going to qualify, but, they're going to be college ready academically. Okay. They're going to, be used to playing a challenged basketball schedule, and they're going to be prepared to graduate. So.
Okay, awesome. I want to let everyone know that they can call in. The number to reach us is 443-619-7881. Just give us a call. You can speak to myself, Coach Nick, Coach Mike Hawthorne from Under Armour, or just voice your opinion on the state of Baltimore area high school basketball. Now, Coach Mike, tell me a little bit more about the relationship with Under Armour and the kids at St.Frances. I know they love having the access to the new colors and things of that nature.
Well, I mean, it's been a great thing for us, too. And, it kind of after football was included. Now you got the girls' team. So just being able to sponsor something in the city. Right. And, I came here 10 years ago from the West Coast, and that was the thing I thought that was lacking. Right. You got to take care of your city before you take care of every place else.
I totally agree.
So to see the improvements and the increased support was awesome. And again, I bring up Saturday. That was, to me, the pinnacle. Right. So now let's see what we do now.
What's next? Right. Now the game against Poly was talked about all throughout the city, all month long leading up to it. You had the Poly fans and some on the fence, thought that St.Frances was too small now since you lost Jordan Tolles and Jamal Banks. We'll talk about those players in a minute. Tell me a little bit about your strategy going into the game.
We got supreme confidence in our young kids, and we just, we say, we're going to work. We're just going to work. And the work that the kids put in was, even though that we lost 2 starters, and both of them are the Division I level basketball kids. That's the biggest myth. Right. They are, possible NFL talent football kids, but both of them will play in the CAA or Atlantic 10, in basketball and be successful. So. Right. For a team to lose that kind of, those 2 kind of kids, it kind of shows us how important our seniors been. Right. They've been pushing them. They challenge every day, and for those guys to step up, I'm just so proud of the guys that wasn't playing as much to, get some time and make big plays. Jonathan Lamofa was a freshman, had 5 points. His games early in the year, he was maybe playing 5 minutes. Elijah Davis came off the bench and gave us some great minutes. Tayon Robinson gave us some great minutes. Right. So not the guys that you necessarily hear of, or heard of, but we got 3 junior starters who are big time. Right. Kyrie Stanton's probably been the most unsung hero in Baltimore basketball. Right. He weighs 130 pounds, soaking wet, maybe.
Soaking wet.
He's on every ball. He makes big shots. Right. He plays the toughest guard every game. So, Byron Allen, who transferred to us from Annapolis, has been great, and Julian Reese, He got a chance to to go as far as he wants to go in basketball. He just got to continue to work. Right.
Yeah. You mentioned Jordan Tolles, the young man who was on your team, 4-year starter, who left for school early to attend LSU on a football scholarship. Tell me a little bit about the impact that Jordan had on your program as far as shaping it into what it is today.
Well, I tell people, him and Ace, their freshman year, we had the first losing season in my coaching career, and probably the second. It's only been 2 losing seasons in St.Frances basketball history. One with Coach Wells and their freshman year. Right. So for them, they could have easily said, we're going to do something different. We're not going to come back. We were not that good. No, they didn't say. They said, Coach, we want to build this into a national powerhouse, and we want to play a national schedule. So for us to win back-to-back championships, and to be as high as 10th in the country is a testament to those 2 kids and their fortitude. We will get some transfers, but we base our program around 4-year kids, and I tell Adrian and Jordan, I'm so proud of them, and we appreciate what they did for the program. They set the program up for the next 8 to 10 years to be successful. Just by them going through those growing pains and helping us get back to the point that we are at now.
Now, Saturday was not only just a big win, but it was an important game for Adrian. Ace. I'm not going to call him Adrian. For Ace, because it was a special thanks was given to, or a notification was made regarding the cancer situation. You know, his dad Buttons died of leukemia, and then you have another player on your team, Jonathan Lamothe, whose mom was dealing with cancer, who also has a brother on the poly team. You know, so it was a cancer awareness type of event also. Just tell me a little bit more about Adrian's impact, playing hurt, and what he means to a team like yours, and then I'll tell you what I see from him.
Okay. I mean, I've been around a lot of kids, man. Just the willpower that kids have. You know, he got a hairline fracture in his hand. You know, he got a stinger in the middle of the game. You know, I'm grown. I'm an adult. I can imagine losing a parent.
Right.
And you know, your best friend. You know, so for him to to come back in the same year and still to be playing and dealing with what he's dealing with, and he's a high school senior. You know. Everything happens senior year. You know, you got to go to prom. You know, you got to get ready to go to college. You got to, you know, he's taking a college course. So, you know, so just this fortitude shows that, he's destined to be great. He's a special kind of kid. It's not even about basketball. It's much bigger than basketball, you know. But he loves the game. Right. And it shows if you use sports in the right outlet, that is always positive. You know, all he's going through, you know, that 2 hours a day is a place where he knows that him and his father will always have that same kind of bond.
Together. I agree.
Yeah, and that's all his dad wanted for him to just go to college. You know, play college basketball, and you know, from there, whatever you can make, you know, you can make. But you know, his parents did a great job. Nina and Butts did a great job with him, and the kid is destined for greatness.
Right. You want to add on some of that, Mike, as well?
I mean, he said it all. I mean, he's special. You know, like you said, you know, grown-ups can't handle what he's been through. Right. And you know. It was good to see it happen in the poly game because it seemed like it was a year where everything came back around. Right. And to see him take over, which is not surprising, but you know, you just kind of look at him and go, yeah, he's special.
Yeah. You know, some kids have unique skill sets. And when we say that about a kid, we always talk about their ball handling ability or their shooting ability. One of Ace's special skill sets is his absolute toughness. I've never seen a kid completely fearless, and that's that kid. He doesn't care how tall, how big. He doesn't care how big the spotlight is. He's ready to go at all times. And that permeates throughout your team, and you can see it. You know, and I think his energy, especially in the fourth quarter in that poly game, just brought everybody else up with him, and that was what was the difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. You know, like I said, what him and Jordan and Jamal are doing is going to put this program the next 8 years. They're leaving their blueprint not only on this team, but on this program, because Jonathan, who's a freshman, is getting these experiences. Right. He's getting to practice with Ace. He's getting to learn Ace. He's getting the temperament. So, you know, so when 4 years from now, when, you know, everybody that we got there is gone and John is there, it's his job to lead into the next group. Exactly. So, you know, these 4 seniors that I had, you know, this year are the perfect 4 seniors to kind of set the tone for the next group. You know, Adrian is great. You know, he's the best. You know, Jamal West is having an unbelievable senior season. You know, he's probably I mean, I don't know what more you can do. He's having a great senior season, and we're winning. You know, and, you know, Jordan and Jamal left early, but the things that they did, you know, especially Jordan over his 4 years. Jamal was only with us for 6 months, but that kid in 6 months left an imprint on this program.
Yeah, that's just
that just shows he's an unbelievable kid.
Right. You know, and again, Jamal Banks, who came over here to us from O'Connell, the ability, from what I've seen as being the hoop haven and covering the sports, you notice his immediate level of energy and complete unselfishness. He doesn't care who scores the points. I've never seen a kid in 15 games take 25 charges.
Maybe more.
I've never seen it.
He took 5 charges in a game.
In one game, right?
Yeah, 5 charges. That's a St.Frances record.
That's an absolute record.
At least since I've been there. I don't know if Coach Wells got. Maybe you got to call in Coach Wells. I've never seen a basketball game where a kid took 5 charges.
Right. Leadership. Yeah.
He came right in. He looked. To me, it felt like he's been there for 4 years.
Right. You know, and it's something special that's going on in St. Frances. Like, people want to get into the X's and O's of what you teach and how you deliver it, and it's nothing. It's not that. Basketball is basketball. Yeah. You know, it's all about how you develop the youth and get them to buy into what you're trying to do.
You know John Wooden's famous quote? Basketball is the most overcoached and undertaught game.
Yes.
And, you know, I want to teach basketball. We want to get in there. My job is the 10 hours that nobody sees.
Right.
And then those 2 hours that everybody comes to the game, we got to show trust in the kids and get them freedom to play.
Right.
Don't overcoach it. Let them play. If you want to teach basketball, then you come to Chase Street on a practice day, not a game day.
Right.
And you'll see it being taught.
Right.
But we want to get great players, great young men, and then give them the ability to show their greatness. I don't want to coach every possession and wear them down. You know. So
now, if I'm a parent of a 7th or 8th grade kid and I think my kid has talent, what do I need to do to get my kid on your recruiting radar? If he's not already, that is.
Academics is first. Is this kid academically sound? Does he take school serious? Everybody say they want to go to college. What does that mean?
Right.
They got to understand what does that mean. And then I always tell kids, if you don't love basketball, this ain't the place for you.
Right.
We're going to do it 6 days a week, 2 hours a day. That's a lot of time. That's investment, And if you're not going to take it serious, don't do it. Don't invest that kind of time and that kind of energy where you could be putting it somewhere else if you're not going to take it serious.
Right.
And the last thing, I don't think every program, high school program, should be, the goal is get to college. Some programs should be about fun and an outlet. But at our level, we want to play at a national level. And if you don't want to play Division I or Division II basketball, don't come.
Right.
Because it's our job to get you prepared to get a college scholarship.
Right.
And that's what we tell parents. If we're going to preach it, we got to put in the work to be able to deliver.
Right.
And then, that's not easy.
Right.
If everybody could get a scholarship,
then everybody would do
everybody would do it.
So true.
Yeah.
Now, the young man that we're about to put up on the screen now, Mr. Jamal West, which affectionately known as Boog, is having an absolute unbelievable season. I'm not sure what the total numbers are for the year, but
16 points, 10 rebounds a game.
Yeah. And do we have a dunk meter? Are we counting how many dunks per game?
No.
Do we have an insurance fund, or if he breaks the rim at somebody's school, do we have something to cover that? This kid is playing lights out. Now, I know this is a kid that you've been trying to get since he was in the 8th grade. They finally got things worked out and got him in as a junior. Tell me a little bit about Jamal West.
This is an absolute warrior, man. And I don't even want to talk about basketball, Jamal. We'll get to that. He is the best kid, man. Know, every time we see you got a smile. He came in and worked so hard academically. I mean, really, really, really worked, you know. And his work ethic, Jamal West is a throwback, traditional Baltimore City. When you think of Baltimore City basketball and you think about eras, and you always say certain players can't play in every era.
Right.
Jamal Banks could have played in the 40s, the 60s, the 80s, the 90s, and he can play now. So he is what you think of, him and Aces. When you think of Baltimore basketball, what a player looks like, that's definitely what you get.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We have a caller on the line here. I'm trying to work out get him off a speakerphone if I can figure this out, and we'll have them talk to you. Hello, caller. State your name and tell us what we can do for you.
Hi, my name is Shantae Speller.
How you doing, Miss Shantae?
I'm good.
You have a question for Coach Nick?
Can you hear me?
We lost the caller. Maybe we'll get him back. But as soon as they call back, we'll get him back. I think they should have a question for you. Okay. But you were saying about Jamal's ability off the court.
Yeah, he shows great leadership. He's really a mentor for the young guys. I just think about practice today. We had a big win. Of course, you give them Sunday off.
Right.
You come back Monday, and practice was okay. And we had great practices. I'm talking about the best practice of the year leading to the Poly game.
Right.
And I gave Jamal a little nudge, and Jamal.
From?
I'm listening to you.
Jamal just started talking and bringing the energy, and then I pulled over another kid and said, "Listen, that's the best. That's one of the best players on our team. You see what he's doing?"
Right.
And then the practice just picks up,
right.
So that just shows the leadership and the imprint that he's leaving on this program.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. I believe we have our caller back. Is this Miss Shantae again?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Can you hear us well?
I can.
Oh, awesome. What's your question, ma'am?
Just wanted to give Coach Nick congratulations on the win on Saturday. They played an awesome game. They fought back.
Thank you.
Even in, the last minute. I just wanted to know, what could he recommend? I know you coach boys, Coach Nick, but what could you recommend? Give us some tips for our girls. What can we get their, their fire, and young girls, age 11 and 12, to get their fire, and just to be hungry, like the boys that you coach are.
Well, I think, when you think boys and girls, I don't think it's any different. I just think the young man or young women got to really love basketball, and they got to work. I think just getting into the gym with basketball is the easiest game to get better. That's all you need is a basketball and a rim. If you got a kid that wants to put in the work, you'll see him getting better. But they really, really got to love it, before you push them. Let them fall in love with the game. I got 2 kids myself, and my son's I think he's finally starting to, fall in love with basketball, and he's getting better, Early on, I think he liked it, but there's a big difference between like and love, and kids don't understand that.
Right. Especially to compete at the highest level.
Absolutely.
You have to love it.
You got to love it. If you don't, because it's just too much, A regular kid ain't going to get up every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning to come to practice,
Right.
Or every kid ain't going to come to the gym maybe 8 o'clock at night after he done had 2 hours of study hall, 2 hours of practice, and put up, some shots for extra hour.
Right.
So, when you watch these kids play on not only St.Frances, even on Poly, those kids put in a lot of work to get what they are.
Right.
If you get those, look at the top 25 and just count the hours of the time those kids put in the gym is just countless hours of trying to perfect their craft.
Yeah. You feel the same way, Coach Mike?
Same way. You just gotta love it. And but one thing, you have to be able to take instruction without take it the right way. It's for a reason.
Without it being personal.
Absolutely, it's going to get you where you need to be.
Right.
Yeah. Tough love is always always a good thing. When a coach is not pushing you, then they really don't care about you. Right. I tell my kids that if I don't say nothing to you, then you worry.
Right.
Don't worry when I'm screaming at you.
Right.
I mean, I'm taking the time, to try to get you better.
Right. Ms. Shante, did that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. The one other topic that I wanted to talk about before we got off of this weekend's events, you also have another big event coming up February 8th at UMBC. Tell me a little bit about that event.
First, we wanted to play the St.Frances Poly game. We thought that was important. It's important for the city. I said, most coaches, you got me and Sam, both of us are younger coaches. And, we don't have to play each other, but we both want to be great.
Right.
So if you want to be great, you got to play the best, especially in your town. So, I applaud, both of us. I don't normally give myself credit, but I applaud both of us for letting our ego, pushing our ego to a side and playing the game.
Right.
But not only that, you got to show people we can be together. So, we had the one day where we fighting and we trying to figure out who's going to be the best.
Right.
And then we want to bring in the best, and we want Baltimore to go against the best in the country.
Right.
So when you get a chance to bring in, 2 teams like IMG and Oak Hill, and, you get your top 2 teams in Baltimore to play that kind of talent, and, get the city all together as one, trying to, beat these out-of-town national powerhouses is great for the city.
Absolutely. You feel the same way, Mike?
Absolutely. That's going to be a great one.
Yes.
To me, that's like a mini Final Four for high school.
Right.
Yeah,
you're actually right.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Now, I wanted to talk about one of your former students that I have some personal experience with. He played with me a little bit during the AAU before he moved on, Mr. Rajier Jones. To me, Rajier is the epitome of St.Frances basketball. A young man that spent 5 years in high school, waited his turn, was a captain, a leader, and now is playing Division I basketball. Tell me a little bit about Rajier Jones.
Roger, like I said, those are the kind of kids that really makes our program what it is. When Roger came to us, he wasn't well known in the city. He wasn't a highly recruited middle school kid coming into high school. He had a couple schools, but not a lot.
Right.
But just the level of work, Roger spent countless hours, countless days in the gym getting better, and basketball is not all about scoring. He's one of the best defensive players I ever coached. He's a 2-time Baltimore Catholic, defensive player of the year.
Only time it's ever happened.
Only time it ever happens, That shows the kind of leadership and how he was prepared for college. He goes to college. He starts from day one. He's named the captain on the college basketball team.
As a freshman.
As a freshman.
Right.
19-year-old freshman. He's a captain. He's playing 25 minutes a game. He's finally – figuring it out. He had, 19 and 17, 2 out of the last 3 games. Right. And, he's doing great academically. And that's what our program's about,
Right.
He's living his dream. He's playing Division I college basketball. And I always tell kids, pick a level where you're going to play. Right. Everybody want to go to school and, this name and that. I don't know no kid that want to sit on the bench.
Exactly right.
There's people sitting on the bench are deep.
Right.
Never going to play.
Never going to play.
Yeah, and, it's people sitting on the bench at Syracuse, at Carolina.
Right.
He's at a level where he's on the floor and he's playing.
Right.
He's getting great academics. He's doing his work. He's going to get a college degree, but he's going to have a great, college experience, and that's what it's about.
Right. Now, a lot of people feel like there's only Division I kids at St. Frances, and that's not the case. One of the gentlemen you had graduate last year, Mr. Taquan Busby, is at Holy Family, which hence this cup I have here, who just had his first start in his collegiate career last night. 9.6 rebounds. So it's not that St. Frances is only for the Division I athlete. St. Frances is for the athlete that really wants it.
St. Frances for a college-ready athlete. You know, it's a small difference. You know, if you get some of those top Division II teams, they're Division I. You know, the majority of our coaching staff is Division II. I'm a Division II kid. How can I stick my nose up Division II? You know, I'm a Division II walk-on. I'm not a Division II scholarship athlete. So we say St. Frances is about the kid that want to go to college and play college basketball. You know, you not only with Taquan, we got Edward Ferguson who's at Bowie. We got Elijah Apps who's at Bowie. We got Deshaun Wells, who's graduated from Bowie. You know, so that's 4 Division II kids who had great college basketball experience. You know, but like with Deshaun, he's a Division I college basketball coach. So, you know, he's using basketball to further his life, you know. And so when you think about basketball, at first it's getting a degree. And then once you get to college, you got to think about what's after basketball. At some point, it's going to stop.
At some point, the ball stops.
Everybody want to play in the NBA. You know, I wanted to play. I was a walk-on, and I said I was going to play in the NBA. That was, you know, I figured that out after my first day of college basketball practice. It's probably not going to happen. So what I'm going to do next?
What's my next plan?
So, you know, you don't kill a kid's dreams, but you got to tell them have a backup plan, be prepared. But use this game to want to make endless contacts. You know, have a circle of contacts to be a great person. And then it'll put, you know, it'll set you up for life. You know, I'm having the time of my life coaching high school basketball. I mean, I've never worked a day in my life. I go into the school, you know, I'm the athletic director. I teach a class, and I coach high school basketball. You know, how can I complain?
Can't complain. Get to travel the country.
Get
to meet good people.
You
know? Now, Mike, other than your duties as the assistant coach with St. Frances, tell me a little bit about what you do, what you're responsible for at Under Armour.
Well, I run the footwear testing for basketball there. So I've been doing that for almost 10 years now here. And I was at Nike for a while doing the same thing. So, you know, it's fun to get to recruit to the schools around the area, you know, to test the prototypes. You know, we can't know if anything works unless we get feedback and things like that. So it's fun to get the kids to be able to do it. They love it because, you know, kids, they want to have everything that people don't have. So,
and they want it first.
Absolutely. So, you know, that's been great for us, and it helps Under Armour, too, because it kind of tells us, what do we need to do? What do we need to work on? And that whole relationship has really, really, you know, become really big for us, where if we don't have these schools, that's a problem for us. So, you know, and we have schools around the area, all around the East Coast, but St. Frances was the first one I had when I moved here 10 years ago from the West Coast. So, you know, they've tested every basketball footwear that's come out of Under Armour.
Sweet.
So, and nobody else can say that.
Now, Coach Nick, I know you are a diehard Ravens fan.
Diehard.
But the Ravens had a hiccup, we'll call it.
Did they? They're in the Super Bowl, ain't they?
I wish. But the upcoming Super Bowl is the 49ers and the Chiefs. Give me your prediction. Who you going with? You can't say the Ravens. You know, I would love to be able to say the Ravens, but we can't this time.
Well, we gotta go with the conference. I'm gonna go with our conference. I'll go with the Chiefs.
Conference. Going with the Chiefs.
Yeah, go with the conference.
We're going Chiefs in a slight one.
Chiefs in a slight one.
Very slight.
Okay.
Well, Mahomes is gonna pull it out.
Mahomes is gonna do it. Well, I'm gonna keep it unanimous, and we're all gonna go with the Chiefs.
Okay.
You know. Now, I know during the football season that St. Frances is running a fundraiser down at Raven Stadium. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's a chance for the the boys and the girls program to work together. You know, we travel. You know, the boys programs travel. You know, we've been to Florida twice. We went to Chicago. We went to Pittsburgh. You know, the girls program traveled. They've been to North Carolina. They've been to Pittsburgh. And when you travel, it costs.
It costs hotels, transportation.
Every bit. You know, we had we actually had 3 flights this year. You know, so it's a chance for the kids and the parents to get some sweat equity. You know. And to get a bond, we have fun. We do cook a lot of hot dogs and hamburgers and chicken tenders.
The Gleazies, yes indeed.
A lot of Gleazies. But you always want, we don't want to charge, but we want the parents and kids to work.
Okay. Now I know there's other ways to fundraise, but for anyone that's interested in actually donating to the school, what would be the best way or contact number or email address that they can reach out to?
Well, if it's the athletic program, I'm the athletic director. And you can call the school at 410-539-5794.
Okay.
You can ask me directly, or my email address is Nicholas, NICHOLAS, period, Myles, MYLES, at sfacademy.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, Mike, tell me a little bit about what you got going on other than Under Armour and working with St. Frances.
We got a project coming out that you guys be hearing about, called PWG, but, more to come on that, guy.
More to come.
More to come.
Camera, can you see that? More to come. Right.
Biggest thing is right now just finishing the season out.
Right.
We got goals.
Yes.
We 2-time BCL, one MIA.
Right.
We need to finish that. We need to finish that. Send Ace and Jamal on on a good note.
Right.
So just making sure we doing everything we can to stay focused with this team.
Okay.
It's a big win for Saturday, but that's just like Coach Nick was saying in practice today. No letdown.
Right.
So.
Now, we had a great experience in Baltimore the last weekend with the Poly St. Frances game, but over the weekend we also had a major tragedy in the sports world with the death of Kobe Bryant and the other victims that were on the helicopter about that. Coach Nick, we'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about your feelings regarding this tragedy.
I just when I first heard about it, I thought about it as being a parent. I got 2 13-year-olds. His daughter was 13, and I just can't imagine, as a parent, what do you think? As our job as a parent, we are parents, protect our kids and make sure that he's safe. And, and he was going to his daughter's basketball game. And, what I did on Sunday, I was at my son's basketball game. Right. So that's what parents do. We make sacrifices. And no matter what we got going professionally, our biggest thing got to be to make sure that they, that they're okay. So, it's funny that you're hearing, about his death, with me being a basketball coach at my son's basketball game. He was going to the Mamba Academy for a basketball tournament. It's just he's an icon. You think of Kobe Bryant, you think of, some of the other greats that died early.
Right.
Biggie Smalls, Tupac,
right.
Michael Jackson, think he got to be in that line of names.
Right.
But his was just through basketball.
Right. Mike?
Pretty much what Dick said. I mean, it's just crazy to me. But the biggest thing I thought of was the kids, but also I thought about Kobe and his daughter. But there are some other families that got hit. You know, and so we definitely don't want to leave them out. But being able to say I worked with him a little bit in my time at Nike, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough, and it's like okay.
The thing that like some of what Nick said that really bothers me about the whole thing is that he's in this helicopter that's losing control, however it was going down, with his daughter sitting right there.
Yeah.
Right beside him, probably.
Right beside him. And as a father, how do you? Yeah. That would be the hardest part of anything.
That 30 seconds before
the realization that we're not going to recover from this, and try at some point to comfort my child, knowing this is going to be it, and then the families that are left here to try to deal with this.
Well, not only that, like Mike said, it was a couple parents with their kids. It was multiple kids on there.
Yeah. So we have a list that we can put up on the screen while you're talking. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I was lost for words.
Yeah. To me, it just tells everybody, you know what? You better put things in perspective.
Right.
Don't worry about all the little stuff and enjoy every day.
You gotta enjoy every day.
Every day.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask my employer, Mr. Nick Myles, for a raise so that I can go out and enjoy some more. No, it ain't happening.
Employer?
No, it's not gonna happen.
I didn't know I was an employer.
Oh, yeah. Well, today you're my employer, so I need to get a raise.
All right. Listen, everybody put that note down. I own Hoop Haven now. Nick Myles is the owner of Hoop Haven.
They're gonna feel like that anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. But again, I'm just going to read the names. I don't know any of the people, obviously, but the victims from that helicopter crash were Kobe Bryant, obviously, his daughter Gianna Bryant, John Altobelli, who was a baseball coach, his wife Carrie Altobelli, their daughter Alyssa Altobelli was a player on Kobe's daughter's team, Christina Mauser, Sarah Chester, Peyton Chester, and the pilot, Mr. Ara Zobayan. Unbelievable. And the Altobelli, there's another daughter who wasn't there. So now there's a sibling who lost her mom, dad, and sister all at the same time.
How old was the sibling?
She's older than this young lady. I want to say 16 or 17.
Oh, boy.
But you also got to talk about Kobe's wife.
Right.
Got 3 daughters.
3 other daughters, right.
But that, not to put anything, that young lady she lost the whole family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whole family's gone.
Yeah.
You definitely feel, heartbroken about Kobe, but for, as adults, I think our job, and as men, we always say is to protect our kids.
Right.
For that young lady to be without her whole family, man.
That's rough.
Yeah, it's definitely rough.
But the thing that's, kind of opened my eyes is the effect that this is having around the world.
Right.
I mean, this is like, we lose people, but all day, every day, that's what everybody's talking about.
Right.
And how somehow it's reaching somebody. One of my best friends was Kobe's guy at Nike for the whole career.
Right.
And, I haven't talked to him yet, but I know,
Yeah, but he's going through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
It's amazing how, not to get overly spiritual, but it's amazing how a death can make all of us recount our live situations and reassess things and put things back in proper perspective.
You never know the time or the place. You always got to remember that,
Right.
So live every day, of course you prepare for the future, but you got to live every day like it's your last.
Right.
So that's the thin line. You got to do both.
You got to do both.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Now, Coach Nick, any closing remarks you want to give to the people that may be listening or online now on YouTube? We want to thank you for watching on YouTube, and please subscribe.
Yeah, just want to thank you for having me. Saturday was great. We really appreciate, the city of Baltimore supporting both programs. It's big time to have that kind of support.
Right.
And we're not done. We just getting started. Continue to support St.Frances basketball. Girls basketball and football. We're not going anywhere, and we're going to add some stuff too.
Add some stuff.
Volleyball and baseball are coming too.
Okay.
And track. So.
Right. And Coach Mike?
Same with us. Appreciate you having us on here and the support.
Absolutely.
And like Nick said, we got a lot left to do, but
Right.
we got a good thing going down there. If you don't know about it, come check it out.
Come check it out.
Instead of hearing
Don't hear the
words or
rumors. Just come see for
check
yourself.
it out.
I'm glad Mike said that. People always ask me, Nick, well, how's it at this school? I'll tell a parent. I don't know. I ain't never been.
Right.
So it's so many people that got opinions in St.Frances, and they be like, so you walk through the school and they be like, oh, this is the school?
Right.
So how can you have an opinion?
Right. You've never been there.
If you've never been inside a school, we will give you a tour. We will walk you in the classroom and let you see.
Right.
And then you can have an opinion. But if you haven't done that, please don't have an opinion.
Right.
Don't base your opinion off of what you heard.
Right.
Let your 2 eyes see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, one last thing from the girls' side, that we can't have this show without mentioning Miss Angel Reese, who has been nominated for McDonald's All-American. Tell me a little bit about your experience with her since she's been there the 4 years.
Honor roll student all 4 years. A fearless competitor, probably one of the most competitive kids I ever been around in my life.
Male or female?
I said kids. I didn't say we had some great being at a school like St.Frances, you get a chance to meet some of the most talented high school athletes in the country.
Right.
She's up there with every last one of them in competitiveness.
Right.
And her thrill and her thrill to win. And here's the thing I don't like about why Angel get a bad rap. You have a daughter. Both of y'all have daughters. I have kids, right? And people always talk about the boys always get everything, right? So Angel plays fearless, right? So everybody say, and she plays fiery. Ain't that what you want? But when it happens, no, she's too rough. You can't have both.
No.
The reason why male sports to me gets more attention than female sports because it's more physical and they more athletic. But when you get a girl that's physical and athletic, then everybody want to cry foul.
Right.
I think sometimes people are the biggest hypocrite. Angel is the nicest person ever. We did a volunteer, and I just want to see who wanted to make it. Volunteer Thanksgiving drive.
Right.
And we had maybe 4 of our kids, and people's out of town and people got things to do with their families. Angel was there. She was the first kid there.
Awesome.
Angel worked the whole 2 hours. She gave out dinner. She cooked food. She is the nicest young lady. When she gets on that basketball court, she's just a competitor, just like all the greats, and she's fearless.
Right.
So if you love women's sports, right, and I want you to do this, if you love women's sports, and you say you want to advocate for women's sports, and you get a young lady that's fearless and got the thrive to win every game and want to be a competitor, then embrace it. Don't push back. Because when you get the, her and Ace to me are the same people as far as temperament and willingness to want to win, So with Ace, everybody, we glorify it, which we should. We got to glorify Angel too.
Right.
Both of them are fearless athletes who want to win, who want to push their teammates,
Right.
Don't say she's not disrespectful, she's a great athlete. Not only a great athlete, she's a better student and she's a better person.
Right.
So, if you want to be an advocate for girls basketball, advocate the right way, not the wrong way.
Right.
I mean, the only thing I can say about her is, man, her motor is crazy. Her motor, that's what,
Right.
A lot of girls don't have that.
Yeah.
And you don't see that in a lot of females. So when you see it in her, people are like, okay, she's too this, she's too that.
Right.
Nah, she's got a motor.
Women basketball, I want to cut my off. She's the 1%.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as her motor, her motor is, she's an athlete, you know, and that's what you want, Which y'all got daughters. You don't want to say, what was a girl? No, she's an athlete.
Right.
She's an athlete.
Yeah.
She's also a better person, too.
Yeah.
And she's been ranked as high as number 2 in the country for her
She's number 1 player in the country. Right. You can't tell. Listen to me. I've been watching high school basketball a long time. And I've never. Let me say this on record. I have never seen whoever they call number 1. It's not a person in this country in high school basketball that want to win, got the drive, and just, listen. We played at 7:00 at night, right? Game's over. What time?
9:30, right?
If we play 3 games a week at home and we finish at 9. Angel Reese is sitting there at 9:05 with her shorts on.
Ready to go
And shoot for an hour. And she got a 3.8, 3.9.
Right.
Like, it's nobody that got that drive in the country, And everything she get is not because, is she tall? Yeah, but she works.
Right.
And that's the story that's not told, And I'm real passionate about it. It's not told because, I see people, I see all the comments, and there's no way that if you a component for women's basketball that you can't, everybody from the city of Baltimore, whether she's at your school or not, we're supposed to be pushing this girl because she has a chance to do some special things in the game of basketball. And she's going to do it.
Right.
And I've had the opportunity to see the number 1 player multiple times this year, and I mean, she's great.
Paige.
Yeah, she can go UConn, but she ain't Angel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's levels to that one.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, I truly thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. We thank Austin Carlisle for hosting us here.
Austin, you're great, man.
Thank you, sir.
I've never been to what's this, the Mill Center?
The Mill Center.
The Mill Center is great.
Yeah.
And Austin has the best Deer Park water.
The best.
All right, the best. So if you want great photography and a podcast,
right,
and you want great Deer Park water,
right,
come see. Hey, Austin, get in the camera shot with me, man. Come see my man Austin, man. This is premium Deer Park.
This is the best.
The best.
Yes.
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you again.
All right. Have a good one.